I'd be a man who would have stood 4 men and 2 dogs out in Rathban, the Stadium of Light, watching fellas kick soccer. But Dominic and Barry has introduced me to a great new philosophical conundrum tonight, and that is, you know, the written word versus the painted piece. And I love painters, and I love art, and I love looking at pictures. And I think those pictures are usually worth what people pay for them, be it millions or indeed billions. But it's interesting that we're all here tonight. You know, the spoken word and the written word, we're all communing on that, and I find that fascinating. That's really interesting. But so we give me food for thought now. I'm going to hold after this. But so maybe I should read something from this book, The Origami Crow, which is subtitled "Journey into Japan World Cup Summer 2002." And try possibly before I even start to explain it, because it's probably quite a difficult thing to digest and a reading. In 2002, I went out to Japan to cover the World Cup for the Evening Herald in Dublin. Excuse me, to follow the Irish team. And but I had an ulterior motive, and the ulterior motive was to try and make a bit of a pilgrimage while I was there. And the pilgrimage was to visit as many of the places that had been visited by Matsuo Basho, the haiku poet from the 17th century. And you know, I think we all need to make a pilgrimage. If it isn't to Lough Derg or to the Vatican or to Medjugorje, or Paul Simon made his to Graceland, and you know, other people go down Route 66 and so on and so forth. I wanted to go around, travel around Japan and visit some of the shrines that Matsuo Basho, the haiku poet, had visited. But of course, my plan sort of got slightly disrupted. More than slightly disrupted, when Roy Keane decided to throw a spanner in the works and leave the Irish soccer team in the lurch, some would say. However, I set out anyway, and this is, let me just read a little excerpt from this. I skip the intro. And Matsuo Basho's most famous, he wrote essays when he went walkabout at a very hazardous period in Japanese history. He would maybe be away for months at a time, and sometimes he felt that perhaps he wouldn't return because of the vagabonds and rogue samurai and all the rest of it wandering around. He'd probably kill him. And but he was in search of enlightenment, and one of his he would come back and condense his travels into little short travel essays, peppered with tiny haiku, you know, this 17-syllable poems that distilled the essence of a lot of his experiences. And the most famous one is called The Narrow Road to the Deep North. And so I'm sitting on a jet with half of the FAI and Des Cahill, a big bunch of journalists, and I look out the window. The Wandering Poet is on my mind, when after 5,700 miles I removed my headset and looked down from the plane. Through summer clouds, my first sight of the far north in rising sun. After a sleep, troubled by dreams of many departed friends, I awake in a quiet rural town in Shimane Prefecture. Morning sunlight, May grasses wave a gentle Izumo welcome. I don the hotel's courtesy kimono and consider the unpredictability of existence. Across green summer fields, 2 dark figures. Overhead, a keen-eyed hawk. It's warm and sunny as I travel to Hamayama Stadium to watch Ireland play a friendly match against Sanfrecce Hiroshima. From streets and temples on fire, people burning, to green grass and football. Women arrive under ornate parasols. Seku, the festival of boys, is celebrated in these parts. It's an enduring samurai tradition. Fish ripple in the air, the blue of North Mountains in the heat. During this warm-up game, the already fragile Irish team suffers another setback as experienced player Jason McAteer is carried from the pitch in distress. "My knee is fucked," he exclaims. Back in Izumo, there's time to drink warm sake in small inns with red paper lanterns. Late night, I find the Takasagawa River, where every year local folk float lighted lanterns downstream to console the spirits of their ancestors. On a small bridge, I sit by a statue of Shikabai Okazaki, who created this irrigation system in 1687, the year that Basho wrote A Visit to Kashima Shrine. I listen to the music the river makes as it dances over rocks that have been cleverly placed to create just such a symphony, and notice how close the twinkling machinery of the heavens seems. I find a key to an ocean of calm beyond the nameless gates of the everyday, glittering like diamonds, the road under a full May moon. It's my life. And so I traipsed around Japan